to be banished. Why is he going to let some stranger banging on his door, demanding that I let me in? I live my life a dirty, rotten sinner. I don't want nothing with God in my life. I proved that how I lived, and you're going to have to let me in because you're a God of love? No. He loves you so much, I'm going to give you what you desire. He's going to oblige you to go to hell. Standing in eternity before the Lord, he began to speak to me. And he still had his hood on, and I was terrified. And he told me to bear witness of what will soon to come. And he spoke in these rhymes. He said, you'll see a land unknown that's best forgotten, but not left unseen. I always remember that. I just can't forget it because it's so unique, because it is in the Bible. Just search around in Revelations there, and the last 4 chapters, you'll find out what I'm talking about. When you arrive at this, where I'm sending you, you'll say my name and my title, so that your silver cord will not be snapped. You're going to have to say my name and my title. His name is Jesus Christ. He told me to say it. And then he said to me, you're going to return to God for God's glory, not yours. When you return, you're going to bear witness to this. So 28 years have gone by, and off and on I had a chance. I ran a prison ministry for 10 years. I spoke to a lot of prisoners, seen a lot of people get saved. During the time of that we're doing our little jail ministry, the repeat rate for criminal offenses dropped, verifiable, in Laramie County. Yeah, he also told me that he can raise the dead. If he wants to, it's up, he can raise the dead. A lot of people say, oh, when you die, you come into judgment. Yeah, it's true. You die just once, and you come into judgment. But God he can make you raise from the dead. He made children raise. He raised Lazarus. He still raises people today. He said this, because when you're a child, you yearn for me. Yeah, when I was a little teeny kid, I had a yearning for Christ, but I fell away to atheism. Then I was lifted up by a compelling force and carried through a gate whose door opened like a scroll. And I was feet first. And I could see my body. It was a different hue, color. It was incredible. And the next thing I knew, I was placed in a tunnel, a spinning vortex heading down to this land unknown. This horrible, spinning green vortex, like a tornado, just spinning around, spinning around, spinning around. And the blast of heat hitting me, like a furnace. I could hear shrieks and cries and people screaming. I could hear slurping noises. I heard all kinds of gross things, and I could smell the most horrible smell compelling me. And I was traveling down this tunnel. How many near-death experiences talk about a tunnel? I'm talking about, you'll find out what I'm talking about in a minute. I was spinning through this, and all of a sudden I wasn't coming to a light, actually. I was coming to an exit, a light at the end of the tunnel. That's how you explain it. Next thing I knew, I was falling out of the sky. When I hit that light, it was yellow. I went right through, and I hit the ground, and I bounced several times, and I looked around, and I go, if I'm in hell, where are the devils with the pitchforks? Because I had this mind, the devils with pitchforks. And, I was, where am I? Am I in heaven? Am I in hell? I looked down, and I saw myself, I'll use the stage as an example, a sloping hill. Then off in the distance, there was a house on the hill. And I was sitting there looking at it. I stood up, and all of a sudden, I saw all these people coming up, coming out of the house, running toward me. They came down the valley. They came up to me. It looked like people that I've known, people who have died. Some didn't appear, You could get my book. There's more detail in there than I could go through right now. But all these people were coming at me, slapping me on the back and say, Brian, welcome, we love you. You were you're welcome to paradise. Putting their arms around me, welcome me, making me think that, man, this must be, where am I? Is this paradise? What is this? How many near-death experiences have you heard, these positive ones, where they can see all their dead relatives or see somebody welcoming them to this nice land, all loving and caring and stuff. If I was allowed to return, I'd probably be just like them. No, the Lord let me go a little bit further. And then this one creature, or this one person, started morphing into a demonic creature. And all of them started turning into what they really were. They're demonic creatures, hideous-looking things of different shapes and sizes. Some of them, this one that was in front of me was about yay tall, about 4'8". It looked like a big, I don't know, half human, half lizard type thing. It was hissing and spitting at me, and they all tried to rush me at once to grab me, and I said, Jesus Christ. I remember, I got to say this name, the title here. When I said that name, they all pulled back. They couldn't grab hold and latch hold of me. Oh, they could pull on my clothes. They could touch my body, which was horrible enough. But they couldn't grab hold. Every time I said, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ. I said, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ, faster than that. I did not stop saying Jesus Christ until I left that place. That's all I said. There's power in the name. Intercessors know there's power in the name. All of you intercessors just know that. Just know what's... Then the creature said to me something. He started hissing and spitting, and he motioned me to come along. There's more detail in my book, but basically, throughout this experience, I was understanding what this creature was saying. I could hear in English, in its own, as it was speaking its own hellish language. And it said, follow him. He's going to take me on a tour. And he walked up, just walked a couple of feet away from me. He came up and he stuck his hand in the end of the horizon. I thought that was weird. There's the horizon. I can't go any farther. He stuck it, he ripped it open. And all this blast of air, remember that blast of air coming in, and the smell hit me. And I saw a wide, dusty road. I stepped out of it. It's a wide, broad road. And off in the middle was this like shaft of empty space. I stepped out of it. And Jesus said something very interesting. It says, he writes, Jesus speaks of a broad way as a way of destruction. Every time I read that, I just think of that place, because that's what it was like, a waterless place, dry, hot, dusty. Some of the rocks out there that I saw in the place were like hot, like on fire. It was hot. The heat was so hot, it feels like your eye sockets are going to melt out of your head, and you're so thirsty. You don't believe how incredible thirsty you get. There's no water like this. I wish I could take a water and take a drink. You couldn't. The Bible talks about that elsewhere. It was so hot, so dry. And I looked around and I turned around and I looked back and I saw I came out of a cube, a big square cell, a cube. I called it a cube. And it's so hot, everything's kind of distorted. So in my book I write that it was 10 by 10. But actually I really wasn't sure how the dimensions of it. Bill Weiss, in his book, 23 Minutes of Hell, describes the same type cubes I saw, as being 14 by 14. So that they could have been that size. I just said 10 by 10. But I stepped out of this cube and I thought, wow, that's interesting, because inside it seemed like I was as big as the all outdoors. And yet it was only 10 by 10 or 14 by 14. It was small inside, but inside was an illusion of space and time. It was like what's inside your mind was being portrayed in there. And I looked up and I saw that the cubes were stacked on top of each other, 6 high to the top of the road. There's 6 cubes on top of each other, and they're set back a little bit, so there's ledges. And on these ledges ran all these demonic creatures. Immediately when they saw me, they were really angry, because who let this guy out? And boy, they didn't like me at all. And they don't like you either. Anyway, they come up and they're all around, and so this creature basically said, he's going to take me a tour of this place because it's been granted to me. But this thing hated my guts. And I looked over, and then we saw that started walking across the wide, dusty road. It was a long way. We got to these big elevator shaft. I looked around, I could see the cubes. It looked like what it looks like is a pit. a spiral staircase, if you will. The wall is where the cubes are, and you step out to where the railing is. That's where the void is. You look up and down. It's a